Folks, Jed Bratt here with your early September San Diego County real estate market update. Let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at some of the recent numbers. So starting off, looking at active listings, we can see we're down 44.7% year over year. Nothing new in this trend here. We've been seeing this ever since May. We've just been going down, down, down on inventory. We pretty much prematurely capped our seasonal peak. And in May, which would normally come around June, July, August, September, actually August, September typically timeframe. And we've not seen any increase in inventory. We've only seen this go down. And this is, don't get me wrong, this isn't a ratio of like buyers to sales, how quickly they're selling. This is actually inventory that buyers have to pick from. Okay, so interest rates, they're obviously spurring the economy on in one way, but this is something else entirely different. We have no supply, and this is continually going down. This isn't even keeping up with previous very low seasonal cycles of inventory that we've had in the past. This is like all new time lows. And you might look at this and say, okay, well, we hit this low over here, and we hit this low over here. It's not too far off from that. Yeah, but those are December numbers. All of these little low peaks right here, those are Decembers. And December is typically going to have the lowest amount out of the entire year, and we're going to see that spring back up as soon as the new year rolls around. But right now we're in August. So if this trend continues downward, which it looks like it probably will for the rest of the year, we are going to have a lot more fun as it pertains to what the availability of homes are on the market. New listings are down 16.7% year over year. Pending sales up 19.2%. So lots of sales activity happening still. The majority of the homes that are available are selling, and they're selling fast. Sold listings are down 9.2%. There's still some data coming in. This number will probably be revised here in the coming weeks. Months of inventory actual, we're down 40.7% again. Pretty much lines up with the last graph we saw. And then sales price, we're up 11.5% year over year. And we look at, last month we looked at, we were up about almost 2% just month to month. And then in July, we were up almost 6% month to month, just month to month appreciation. I mean, 5.7% is very nice numbers for an annual period. And to see that just in a month to month span it's pretty incredible. We're going to take a look at something here in a second, though, that I want to address specifically regarding that. But let's first take a look at interest rates. So interest rates are hovering around 2.93%. Most recently, we've just been around this 3% range for the last several weeks. And actually, the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, came out recently and made a statement saying that the Fed is revising their monetary policy and the targets they have on inflation. And let's go ahead and let's take a look at a little clip of his announcement.
We began our review with these changes to the economy in mind. The review had three pillars: a series of Fed Listens events held around the country,
It's funny when even the Federal Reserve can't get a great internet connection.
Research conference, and a series of committee discussions supported by rigorous staff analysis.
So whereas recently, in the past, they might have a target of, let's say, 2% inflation that they're doing their best with monetary policy to achieve. In this case, what they're more worried about is deflation. And so they are coming at this with a much more flexible approach, saying that, hey, if it's in the best interest of the economy, we're going to set a target of 4%. If it's in the best interest of the economy, we're going to go up to 5%. We're going to allow a little bit more excess inflation than we would traditionally try to target. So this is very good news, because what's one of the ways that the Fed actually controls inflation? Well, interest rates. And we've already had the assumption and the expectation that the Fed was going to be keeping interest rates low for the foreseeable future, but this pretty much solidifies that and gives us more confidence that this is something we can expect to see and expect to continue. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at the most recent information in the most recent jobs report. So in the month of August, we saw unemployment come down slightly. We saw an improvement of about 1 million in the workforce, but folks, we are still in a deep chasm. This is 3 to 4 times what we would normally expect to see in a healthy economy. And despite little blips of improvement here and there, we are still very far from where a healthy economy would be. The Mortgage Bankers Association reported a slight reduction in loans in forbearance from 7.21% to 7.20%. This is the equivalent of about 360 less mortgages in forbearance. So it's really not an incredible number here, but I suppose it is some movement in the right direction. All right, folks, now I want to take a look at this real quick. Like I mentioned, I was going to point out something regarding prices and interest rates. And if we look here at the run-up that we had between June and July, we had a 5.8% increase in prices. That's to month, not year over year. And then we had a 1.9% increase from July to August. Folks, these are numbers that we would see in an incredibly great year in California in an entire annual period. This is month to month. So we have a nearly 8% run-up month to month. And if we were to, go back to the beginning of the year, we're going to see even more, but we're just talking over a few months, okay? So if we take this and let's go like this. I'm going to look at the interest rates for the beginning of the year. So if we look at the beginning of the year in 2020, we have an interest rate of around 3.72% because we know interest rates are a contributing factor to this crazy run-up in prices. 3.72%, and we plug that into our calculator, 3.72%. We're going to come over here and we're going to look at what was the median home price in the beginning of the year. So we look at the beginning of, let's look at January. Okay, 587.5. So if we look at this and we plug this in, 587,500 on the present value. This is a financial calculator. It's pretty easy to use, but it's great for running some calculations like this. Now we calculate the payment on this. So we have a payment for principal and interest of $27.10 for the median home price in San Diego County and a 3.72% interest rate. So we come over here and we look at this payment and we say, okay, at 587.5, we have a payment of around $27.10. Well, let's go ahead and look at what interest rates did. Interest rates, as we saw right now, are at 2.93%. So let's go ahead and plug that in. 2.93% on the interest rate now. We're going to keep the same payment as we were looking at before. We're going to see what that calculates out to be for a present value, for actual loan amount. And we see that's $648,770. And so when we take that and then we run back and look at the numbers we're at right now, $646,500. We are very close to already having this correction per se of the recent drop in interest rates correlating to the price. We have pretty much made up for that run up already now at this point in time. We had the pricing built in for the higher interest rates previously, and now we have the pricing built in for these lower interest rates. And now they correlate. But are we going to see another 5% run up from here on out? Because if we do, what's that going to do directly? If interest rates don't continue downward even further, what that's going to do is it's going to directly affect the affordability level in San Diego. So that means that homes are going to be less affordable. Fewer people are going to be able to qualify for mortgages for the median priced home because we've already made up for that difference in affordability based on the interest rate. And I'm just pointing this out because I think it's important to know and understand that when prices are jumping up like this, there's usually a reason, and it makes complete sense to some extent. When we have a major drop in interest rates, affordability increases. But now once we've made up that difference and the housing prices and index have accommodated for that now and have adjusted accordingly, now we are back to a calibrated level playing field. However, we do still have the issue of extremely low inventory. So the question is going to be, is this extremely low inventory now going to continue to push prices upwards? Because before we had the two factors, we had low interest rates and low inventory. Now the interest rates have been taken into consideration here. Are we going to see a continuation and drastic run up, or is it going to be a bit more modest? And it's going to be something we're going to keep our eye on, and we have a lot more videos coming out in the coming weeks, diving much deeper into different factors such as this and where we see the real estate market going. So stay tuned, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. If you found any value in this, please hit the like button. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.